I'm going to talk today about loneliness. I'm going to talk about loneliness specifically because one of the things that I have realized is that loneliness is not something to be feared. In fact, loneliness doesn't mean anything at all. Loneliness certainly does not mean abandonment. It doesn't mean unworthiness. You can be alone at any time. Being alone doesn't make you lonely. So the question becomes, what is the story running behind my mind that says when I am alone, I feel lonely? What is the need which underpins it? And what is the story that underpins the need? And the likelihood is that it's from something in the past. It might be that you've been in situations in the past there where you have been kind of shunned or shamed by others and have felt like an outsider. But none of that is correct right now when you have that feeling of being alone that in your perception becomes one of loneliness. What you're doing is you're drawing upon some stuff which is sensible in the past and maybe feels similar to today and going, oh, here we go again, sort of thing. Whereas in practice, every emotion is just a messenger. It has a story to it, but you can look at it and you can choose how to respond to it today without simply falling back on yesterday's automatic response. Yeah. So for me, being alone is quite an exquisite thing. And it's not something that I do enough of in actual fact. So I find myself, I come out to these places quite deliberately to be alone in order to kind of self-reflect, in order to build a stronger relationship, a kinder relationship with myself, to kind of permit the stuff that in the day-to-day noise of life won't come through, because there's things going on, there's events, there's noise, there's people, there's experience, and all of that creates a sort of a sensation of myself. It creates and upholds and maintains a story about what I am. And that noise can be quite addictive. It can be tremendously distracting. But it's not true, and it's not necessarily useful either. So I find these moments of giving myself the gift of being with myself, to be alone, to be tremendously fruitful. Yeah. The thing with the loneliness thing is that it's like, well, that's all very well, but right now I don't want to be alone. Right now I want to be with friends. And why am I on my own? Yeah. So there's a judgment going on. So then my best suggestion is, well, what else could this possibly mean? And there's a good reason for the inner critic to be there as well, okay? Because it's a push then to get you to kind of become aware of that, to observe it, to change your ways, because we are social animals. We do need other people. So fair enough, allow that story to exist, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It's almost definitely not true. If you just ask yourself, what else could this mean? There's 1,001 things that it could mean. And the fact that you're not with someone at that moment, even though you might make a judgment call on it, is all as much to do with them as it is to you. And maybe they've got other stuff to do right now. Maybe they're playing their own roles. Maybe they're running on their own rails. Maybe they've forgotten that they're a social animal and they're being self-centered themselves. Who knows? We'll never, ever know. And that's the point. That's the whole point. So the wonderful reframe for loneliness is, this is a tremendous opportunity for me to be with myself. This is a tremendous time for me to honor whatever this thing is that I think I am, and to bathe it in love, and to bathe it in kindness, to look after me, and to see what's down there, to find the peace inside of myself. Ask myself what it is that in this particular moment in time is most deeply, truly alive within me. Are there things that are important to me? Are there yearnings that I have? Are there things that I need to consider, contemplate, resolve? There might be a little bit of a yes, but what if the scary stuff comes up, And for that, well, hey, go look yourself in the mirror. Really, really deeply look in the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes. Take in a few deep breaths and just see where that goes, in order to be able to sit with yourself quietly on your own and to honor what it is, you've got to be able to contemplate the idea that these demons, these dark thoughts do exist, but that they exist in humanity, that they exist in all of us. And it's not so much the thought, but it's what you do with the thought. And is the thought relevant, and is it true, and is it even my thought, or did it come from some authority figure in the past? What is going on in my brain? And given how little of that is in my control, am I going to right now decide to give myself the gift of my personal friendship? Am I going to love myself sufficiently that all of that stuff which is outside of my control, I'm simply going to accept? And I'm going to thank whatever it is that I think this all came from, whether it's your God or source or nature or whatever it may be, but appreciate this extraordinary thing which is life, this extraordinary thing which is awareness, and see that when you plumb down into the depths of that, it's impossible to be alone. It's impossible to feel lonely because you are everything. Yeah? You are weirdly an expression, one tiny little expression of everything, of source. But don't be afraid of loneliness. Loneliness is a tremendous conduit. It's a wonderful way into self-reflection, especially if you feel as though you want to struggle against it, because then there's a real story underneath which you need to dig into. All right. Thanks a lot for watching. If it's of interest, I'm blathering on, doing quite a lot of these little, oh gosh, I wish I had known about XYZ before I started down this journey. So subscribe and you'll probably find some others popping in your inbox. All right. Take care. Bye.